This week on a special episode of a podcast from beneath, it's Halloween 3, Season of the Witch.
They're coming to get you, Barbara. Watch out. They're coming.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. The unburied dead are coming back to life, seeking human victims.
You know what? I saw that movie again. I had to show because I don't think my wife watched it, and we watched it. I want to say about last week, and I still love that movie. The original.
The original?
Yes,
I love
the original.
I like the remake too. I think Tom Savini done a really good job on the remake.
Well, he did, but I don't know. There's just something about the original. You got to see the original, and then you can, go from there.
Oh yeah, definitely watch the original first.
Exactly.
All right, so Mr. Poe, how's it going?
I'm doing good, man. It's gonna be Halloween.
Yes,
And
tomorrow. Tomorrow will be
yeah,
Halloween.
yeah, and all the little kids and everything will be running out getting candy, and I got a little costume I might freak them out with, so it's all gonna be good and fun.
Sounds really interesting.
I'll
So we
send
are,
you pictures. Don't worry.
yeah. So we are talking about Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. But before we dive into the movie, let's talk about the origins of Halloween. What do you got on the origins of Halloween?
Um, I just know it as All Hallows Eve. I know. I really, that's why I like that you wanted to get into it because I mean, I really didn't dive too much into, the whole Halloween tradition and all that. So I'm really looking forward to what you found out.
All right. Well, I have a really good source. If you go to history.com, they have a really good article about the history of Halloween, trick or treat, all of it. Um,
Awesome.
yeah, so the Halloween's origins date back to like ancient Celtic festivals that were called Samhain. That may not sound familiar, but it's the spelling of it is nowhere near how you pronounce it. The spelling is Samhain, which I'm sure you've seen that before,
Yeah.
but it's pronounced Samhain, and I'm sure other people pronounce it Sam Hain or
Yeah.
not for sure
Yeah.
how they pronounce it. Um, but it was mainly took place in like Ireland, United Kingdom, the northern parts of France, and what they were celebrating was their New Year, which they celebrate on November 1st, and of course that marked the end of summer, and it was the end of the harvest and the beginning of a dark, cold winter, which was associated with a lot of human death.
Yeah.
And so
Rightfully so.
yeah, so they believed that on the night before the New Year, the boundary between the worlds of the living and the dead, were blurred together. So they would they would basically have big bonfires, burn all their old crops, and have animal sacrifices to, I guess, keep the portal closed, keep everybody happy or whatever.
Man, what they used to believe in.
Yeah, hey,
Yeah, that's interesting, man, and it kind of makes sense, because around this time, well, down here in Texas where I'm at, it's starting to cool off a little bit, and it's starting to get about that time, so it kind of makes sense to me, getting ready for the winter, and of course the time change, everything it'll get darker sooner. About 6 o'clock, it'll be dark outside, so
yeah, it's starting to. We're having our temperatures are fluctuating up here in West Virginia.
oh yeah,
um,
mine too.
we're going from 80 and then 43 at night, and then the next day it could be low 40s all day, and then right back to the hot days. But yeah, we're starting to get of course, the daylight saving time is starting to get darker now. It before too long, I figure sometime next month it's gonna start getting dark about 5 o'clock, which I
Yeah.
really enjoy.
Yeah, I kind of enjoy it too. It kind of gets old after a while. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my god.
always nice to go back and forth. But
Yeah,
you did you mention you'd mentioned All Saints Day, right?
yeah. Oh well, yeah. When we kind of talked about it before we got on,
Hmm.
yeah, I did mention that as well.
Yeah, so that was, I guess, kind of the same thing, but that was more of the um, Roman and like Christian part of it, which they would come in. They had like festivals for they include All Saints as well as the martyrs, and it was basically they done it from like May 13th to November 1st or something like that. I really that side of it's not really as interesting as the the first part of it.
Yeah. Oh well,
But
it's still part of
yeah,
history.
yeah, it's still part of it, but it's just not as interesting. But the celebration of Halloween, that was like a kind of came they of course they brought it from Europe over to like North New England and all that. And it was a way for like it says borrowing from European traditions, Americans began to dress up in costumes and go to houses asking for food or money, a practice that eventually became today's trick or treat tradition. And young women believed that on Halloween they could divine the name or appearance of their future husband by doing tricks with yarn, apple parings, or mirrors.
Man, it sounded a lot more interesting back in the day. A
Yeah, I know.
bunch of single women out in the street doing stuff with
Tricks with
string
yarn,
and yeah.
hitting you with an apple.
Look over here.
But
Wow,
yeah,
she
but
could really
yeah,
whip that
and then
string. Go ahead. Sorry.
and then in the late 1800s, that's when the in America became more of a uh, community neighborhood get together that was more about the ghosts and pranks. But then later on, it became where you had like Halloween parties for children and adults. It was a way to celebrate parties focused on games, foods, seasons, and festive costumes. Just kind of like a cheap way for communities to, sort of do stuff together. So,
Yeah, which is good.
yeah. And then I'm sure it's completely different now than, I mean, I don't really do it much anymore, but sure there's some. I
Yeah.
mean, like I know that now some things that I know that are different now are and this is just around here. Like I'm still currently living where I grew up, and this is where we would trick or treat. We'd walk.
Yeah.
This, I live up a hollow. We would walk it. Now they don't do that anymore because I guess it's less safe. So everybody goes to one spot. And you see it like they'll have trick or treat at the mall or stuff like that. To me, that's different. Completely different from what it was when we were growing up.
Well, and where I grew up, I kind of witnessed the same thing where, when I was taking my son trick or treating, we would walk the same street I walked, and it was just dark. Like no one had decorations out. But where I currently live, it's just awesome. I mean, people get in the back. They'll pull their trailers and their friends and kids are all back there, and the kids will get off and come get candy. It reminds me of that time, the town I currently live in, and it's just I think paranoia and thinking that all this crazy stuff's going to happen. I remember the craze when people thought things were in candy, and all that was just like a folk tale. It didn't really happen. None
Yeah,
of that stuff.
that's one thing I would like to get out there is there's no razor blades in apples, people.
No, I
Doing it.
mean it. Someone
And
came up with a story, and it just took off like
yeah, it took
wildfire.
off. And I would also say that people aren't putting free drugs in your kids' candy.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
They're not gonna
I,
give that away.
yeah, but and I get it to be safe, and you want your kids to be safe and all that. But I mean, it takes away from being like you said. What it started out to be was like the community got together, and we're all having fun, dressed up. And I really hope that doesn't go away altogether. I really hope it makes a comeback. especially if, my sons got to experience that, all the kids on the street and walking around and all that. I don't know. I just I hate seeing dark streets on Halloween. Should have people sitting out front. I remember seeing grown-ups dressed up as like a witch or a werewolf and just scare you and then give you candy and then you walk off. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
I would say from when I first started, doing the trick or treat thing up until, I was too old for it, nothing ever happened. Like I don't remember hearing about any, you know. So I don't know where all the. I guess it is just paranoia. I guess I don't know.
maybe, and if you live in a world where you're always paranoid, you're not going to enjoy nothing. You're just going to be scared of everything.
Right.
And not to get political or anything like that, but in the world we live in right now, everybody's scared and they just, they need to have fun. Just, come together, and it doesn't hurt to trust someone, especially, don't push people away. That's all I'm trying to say. Especially little kids trying to come up and get candy. If you're, oh, I don't want to deal with that, you shut off your lights. I mean, that's just, why not just have your door there and you're watching TV and then get up when the doorbell rings or someone knocks at it and you hand out candy and go back to what you were doing?
Oh yeah. I mean, I
It's,
like the I mean, obviously when I was a kid, I liked doing the trick or treat part. Then
yeah,
the few times that I got to do it, I liked the giving out the candy too. So,
yeah.
but like I said, they don't do that around here anymore, so I don't get to do that now.
If you do it, they're gonna be like, "Don't go to that house. That
Yeah, don't
guy's
go there.
crazy." Nah,
That guy
which
talks to
is
himself. I hear him every Friday night. He's talking, and there's nobody's talking back.
yeah. He's just in there plotting. I know it.
Yeah,
But yeah, luckily where I live now, that still kind of that still happens, and it's fun.
that's
So,
cool.
well, yeah, we still do it. I love doing it.
Of course, this Halloween I'll be at work, so it won't really matter.
Ooh, no, that's all right.
Mm.
Yeah, you'll be at work and they'll be hanging the freaking Christmas decorations and playing Christmas music.
Oh, we already have Christmas merchandise out on the floor, so
Good.
don't worry
I'm
about
glad.
that.
I'm
Yeah, I
glad.
know. I was
I
really
was worried.
upset. I thought maybe we weren't going to do it this year, but they came through.
They came through.
They had
didn't
Christmas stuff put out before September was over.
God, man, that's nuts.
But anyways, let's not talk about depressing things. What was your favorite costume as a kid that you had? Not the ones you wanted, but the ones that you had.
I had the nice plastic Superman costume,
The
all
one that came
nice.
in the cardboard box with the cellophane window on the front so you
Yep.
see the face.
Hell yeah, I rocked that probably, golly, quite a few years. My mom had to go re-buy that costume because it was a cheap piece of crap.
Oh yeah, you would step on it when you were wearing it and rip holes into the bottom of it.
Well, see, I'm a tall goofball, so I guess I was kind of tall for my age, so I'd like have rips in the side, and I looked like I was wearing like, bell bottoms or something. It was weird, but I enjoyed the hell out of wearing it. So
Oh yeah, that was fun. I had the Superman one also. That's the only one. That's the only one of that type of costume that I ever had. I never had like any other characters or anything like that. I just had that one.
yeah. Now, what I wanted to be, I remember one year, I wanted to be Freddy Krueger, and and I told my mom I want to be Freddy Krueger. She didn't know who the hell that was. And then I said, "Oh, I need to make my glove." And I asked my dad, "Can I put like knives or something poking out of the glove?" He's like, "Are you crazy?" I'm like, "What? That's the costume." But yeah, he didn't let me go through with that.
So what'd you end up being that year?
I don't know. I was so disappointed. I don't even remember. I probably just like,
That's what you went as, disappointment.
yeah. Man. Yeah, I do remember that. My dad was like, "Hell no, you ain't doing that."
Yeah, the only other I guess costumes I can remember is besides the plastic mask would be the cheap grease paint that you would buy in the little cardboard tube.
Oh yeah.
that would have like examples on the back that obviously a professional artist had done, and you were going to get nowhere close to it.
Kind of like the McDonald's menu, looks all nice and bright, and oh man, that looks good, and they give it to you. It's like oh wow, I can still see the microwaves coming off of this thing.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Made fresh.
Yeah, and of course, when you bought it, you bought the grease paint like 2 weeks before Halloween, but you had to try it out, so you end up using it all before Halloween gets there. Then you just end up going as the hobo. An old torn up flannel shirt, stick with a bandana tied to it, and dirt on your face. That was it.
There's always, it never fails. If you can't come up with a costume, you can always be in a real quick rush. You could be a hobo or a pirate.
Or the mummy. If you got enough toilet paper, you can be
the mummy. The mummy.
You just have to go to the store the next day and get more toilet paper.
This is true. Yeah. Or you look like you rolled out from underneath a car or something. Like, what the hell?
So, what was your favorite candy to get as a kid?
My favorite candy was the Sweet Tarts. I like the Sweet Tarts.
Sweet Tarts were good. I'm gonna go with Reese Cups. That even today, the Reese pumpkins, for some reason, is the best thing ever. I don't know if it's the ratio of peanut butter to chocolate that you get in the pumpkin shape, but they are better, and they're actually better than the trees, like the Christmas tree ones. Like they should just sell the pumpkins fucking year round.
Right? No,
It's the best.
My wife bought around this time. She buys little packets of the little fun size stuff. Right now, there's Kit Kats. There's still Kit Kats in there, but by tomorrow,
Kit Kats too.
By tomorrow they'll be gone. But before that was the Reese's Pumpkins, and those didn't last but a day.
They're not going to.
Yeah. So.
And of course, I guess like now, be like an adult and not really doing the trick or treat thing. The best thing now is the day after Halloween when all the candy goes on sale.
Yeah.
Then it's like, okay, now we can start Christmas because I'm some Halloween candy. $1 a bag.
Well, I'm still fortunate enough, my oldest, he's 16, so he's just dressing up and he's going to walk around with his friends or so. I don't know. They probably got some party. But my youngest, he's 12, so he's still in the realm. Yeah. Good. So after that, it's no more, they won't be dressing up anymore probably.
Do you remember the last time you dressed up?
Oh, well, now, I mean, as an adult, I think I dressed up last year. My wife wanted me to dress up, so I went as the most horrible thing I could think of, and it was the Jared Leto Joker. And if you don't believe me, look on Facebook.
You got to send me a picture.
I will share. I will send it. I have my hair, the little paint, for the hair, colored green, and then I looked on YouTube how to make a foil grill. And actually,
how did you walk around with aluminum foil in your mouth like that?
Okay, it wasn't aluminum.
Okay.
It wasn't aluminum foil. What it was the gum wrappers?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they showed it.
Okay.
Man, it fits like perfect on your teeth. And of course, on the other side of it is paper.
All right,
so
yeah.
You just spit it on there. And I saw that on YouTube, and it came out perfect. So, yeah, everybody's like, oh, my God, how'd you do that with your teeth? And I told them, and they're like, oh, that's cool. So, yeah, I think I still have the tattoo shirt I was wearing.
The last time that I dressed up I was in high school, probably senior year, and I dressed up as the Crow.
That's awesome.
That was the last time that I ever dressed up.
Man, I'm trying to think of my costumes.
I'll also have to put that picture on the show notes.
Well, see, and as an adult, I got invited to Halloween parties, and one year, me and my wife, she went as Medusa, and I went as like a gladiator type looking dude, and then one year we went as a disco couple. So and my rocker. Oh man, me and my youngest brother, we dressed up as '80s rockers. It was awesome.
All right.
Yeah, we look like Twisted Sisters, like opening band. I don't know what you would call us, but we were horrendous. But it was fun.
Yeah, I've never gone to a Halloween party. I guess the closest I've ever done was, parties at work. Having a Halloween party at work. Which now reminds me, I did dress up once after that. I was dressed up as a Star Trek character
Oh,
at
okay.
one of the the Halloween parties at work. But I had like the phaser and the communicator and the shirt and all that. So
A red shirt?
blue.
Yeah, you don't want the red shirt.
Yeah.
Cool. No, that's cool.
So so that pretty much covers all of like Halloween. What I was going to ask you this too, and I don't mean to like put you on the spot. It's just stuff I thought about throughout the day.
No, that's fine.
What's like one of your favorite? And I'm not. You can't include Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday 13th.
Okay.
Halloween horror themed like NES game from your childhood,
Oh, shoot.
or Sega, or Atari, Jack,
Or
or
Sega,
Commodore
or
64, whatever you
oh
had.
my God. Wow.
Or
Man.
under.
I'm trying to think for NES. I know Sega, there was a game, it was called The Ooze. I like that one. You're just pretty much the blob, and you're like moving around on the ground. You get to kill people and swallow them up and stuff. That was cool. And of course, Slaughterhouse. That was awesome too.
Yeah, games from Sega.
Yeah. So basically, the horror games I usually got for Sega because I was around that age. I was like maybe, like 10 or 11. So I was able to, I could pick those kind of games. Like when I had a Nintendo, I didn't really get to pick what games. It was like Mario Brothers, and that was it. So,
Right.
Duck Hunt. Maybe that's a horror game. That stupid dog
Duck
always
Hunt,
laughing
yeah.
at me because I can't shoot worth a shit. But yeah, that's my answer. The Ooze. That's a fun game. That's still a fun game.
I don't know if I played that one. I'll have to look at that one later and see if I recognize it.
Yeah.
Let's see if you remember this little gem from 1989 called Monster Party.
No.
It was it just about had, I would say, almost all of the Universal monsters in it, but then it also had like I think it had like Medusa and stuff in it. I remember that game being really good, like a really
Wow.
good like horror game. I'm trying to remember exactly what the what the main storyline was. But like I'm pretty sure that like you turn into the monsters, I think. Like as you're playing it, I guess each level you have to turn into a different monster to like progress to the level.
You know what? Now that I'm thinking of it, NES, Ghost and Goblins. That was
That was just a nightmare. That game's hard.
I fucking hate that game. I even got that little NES they sold, the classic.
Yeah.
I bought that and Ghost and Goblins is on it. Guess what? It's still fucking hard, even on easy, and I hate that damn game.
Yeah, I figure it's pretty rough there.
I still play it too, and I hate it. I don't know why.
All right, so before we move on to our feature here, I just want to give a little shout out to a local band called the Renfields. They are a horror themed punk band, and I recommend everybody, if you haven't heard before, check them out. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can buy their music. But yeah, definitely check them out. I think everybody will really like them.
I'm looking forward to listening to it because this is the first time I ever heard of them. So we were talking about music before we were recording, and you told me about them, and I looked it up, and I agree with you. That's some good Halloween punk rock. So
Yes. All right, so 1982, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Kids all over America want silver shamrock mask for Halloween. Dr. Daniel Chalice seeks to uncover a plot by the silver shamrock owner. What's his name? Connell Cochran?
Yeah, I believe
I
so.
believe I pronounced that right. I'm not good at pronouncing names. But this
Yeah,
movie
Connell
stars,
Cochran, yeah.
Movie stars Tom Atkins, as Daniel.
He's the man.
Stacy Nelkin as Ellie. And Dan O'Reilly as Connell Cochran. What are your thoughts on Halloween 3?
Halloween 3. When I watched this a long time ago, of course, I was really getting into slasher movies, and when I ran Halloween 3, I was kind of like everybody that was a moviegoer back in the day, highly disappointed that Michael Myers isn't in it. Well, later on in life, when I, got older and everything and was able to sit down and enjoy a plot to a movie, I actually enjoy it. It's different. It's a good story, and I just can't say enough good things about it now. I mean, it's a good movie. Yeah, Michael Myers and slashing people up, but it's kind of like a little refreshing thing, I enjoy it. I like Halloween 3. I've watched it several times.
I have always liked it. I was never, of course, I mean, I saw it, when it came out in '82 on home video or whatever. But ever since then, I've liked it. I've never, ooh, there's no Michael Myers. I hate it. I've never been that way. But what I do like about it, or what I do like about the idea of it is, after part 2, they killed Michael Myers. We're ending this. John Carpenter's idea was to do a new movie every year, every Halloween, a new Halloween movie every year that would be a different Halloween related story. And I'm pretty sure even the other idea was they were all take place in the same town and would probably be connected in some way, but they were going to be different films every year.
Yeah.
That to me would have been awesome. Right?
Yeah, I mean,
but
think
after
of
the movie,
what would have been, yeah.
Yeah, after this movie, basically bombed at the box office, then they decided, well, we need to bring back Michael Myers, and then you get what you have now, which I would have preferred more of this, different stories taking place at Halloween. But, they're all different stories. I think I would have preferred that a lot more than what we ended up with.
Yeah, I'm on board with you. I mean, yeah, to think what he could have done with the different ones. But I mean, Michael Myers is up there. I mean, he's part of the Trinity, You got Freddy, Jason, and Michael. I mean, those are the ones that, started it all with the slasher films and influenced a lot of people. I get what you're saying because I am a fan of anthology films as well. But I understand the other, I mean, at that time, not a lot of people, I guess, were into stuff like that. I guess they wanted to see, the same guy do the same thing, which kind of gets tiring after a while.
Yeah, but I mean, I know they done Halloween 2, but before that, we hadn't got into this idea of running a franchise into the ground, right?
Oh,
yeah. There wasn't even a Freddy Krueger yet. I don't know how many. There was probably only one Friday 13th, right? By this time, and or whatever.
Yeah, it was Michael, and then Jason.
Yeah. Well, not Jason, but Jason.
Well, I mean Friday the 13th. Well, we're talking about the slasher.
Yeah. But actually, before this, there was, Halloween really wasn't even the first slasher. It was the first one. Would have been Black Christmas, right?
I believe so. But that's different because I guess it's different because it's not the same. It wouldn't be the same person like it is with these guys. It's always Michael Myers and Jason Voorhees. That movie is totally different.
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting at. Is at this time, no one was expecting, another Michael Myers and do another one. So I think this was the start of the cash grab. You know what I'm saying? That didn't make any money, but everybody loves Michael Myers. All right, even though we killed him off for no reason at all. We're gonna bring you back just for money, and it takes away from. I don't know. It takes away from. That's why I'm a fan of like the first Halloween, and I'm a fan of Halloween 3, and I'm a huge fan of like the new, even the new one. I'm a fan of it, but that's pretty much it. I mean, I could you can kind of get rid of everything else in the middle.
Yeah. Which they kind of did with the new one.
Yeah, I know.
So
yeah, so basically we have the Silver Shamrock Company, who are doing bad things. I guess they're this movie here, the plot of this movie actually connects to the original, or the origins of Halloween.
yeah.
With the Celtic ritual. Of course, they have Stonehenge in this movie, but I think it's also it's based around the Samhain and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think that's where they got a lot of their backstory from on this one. But I guess their plan is they're going to use the power of Stonehenge to kill a bunch of kids all at the same time. And what they're doing is they take, somehow Stonehenge is programming these microchips that they put into the masks. There's 3 masks. There's a pumpkin, a skeleton, and a witch. And the masks have the chip on it. Yeah, but it's basically just a badge that the Silver Shamrock advertisement on the back of it. And whenever you're supposed to put this mask on whenever they show this commercial, which everybody knows the commercial, everybody knows the song.
And if you don't, go watch the movie.
Yeah, and it just flashes, the pumpkin on the screen, and basically turns your head into mush, and bugs and snakes come out of your head.
Yeah, that's basically it.
And that's their plan, to kill every kid on Halloween.
Now, I don't remember. Why did they want to kill the kids? Did they even say?
I guess because of evil.
All right, we're going to make these masks, and they're going to be powered by what? Stonehenge. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now what? Yeah, we're going to kill the kids. Why? Just because. Yeah,
I don't really remember the point of killing the kids, unless they're using the kids' souls for something. I have no idea.
Maybe. Who knows? But it's an interesting story. I think it's a lot more. I would classify this as horror sci-fi, really. Because they're using Stonehenge, which I guess everybody believes Stonehenge. Aliens put it there, so that's what I classify this as, and it really comes off as that. Especially some of the, like you said, the death. I mean, how do snakes come out of your head? And
that's the one thing that always bothered me, is I don't know where the snakes and bugs come from.
It's like a pocket in the mask. I mean, I don't get it.
Are they just there the whole time?
Yeah. Oh man,
they're obviously not coming from inside the head. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a cool scene, right? Whether it's the first, I guess spoiler. We don't see every kid in the world die at the end of this movie, but what we do see is them, I guess, them testing it out, right?
Yeah.
They invite this. I guess the guy works. I don't know if this guy works for him, or if they won like a contest, but they get to come there. Husband, wife, and the kid, they get to come tour the factory, Willy Wonka style. And they give the kid, one of the masks, it's the pumpkin mask, which is the one I always wanted. Side note, when this movie came out, you could actually buy those masks.
Really?
Yeah, they were a real product, and I was like, damn it.
If I only knew.
Yeah, somebody needs to remake them now so I can get one.
Oh, I bet someone.
I always wanted the pumpkin one. But I guess this is their test. So they take them to this, fake living room, and there's snacks, and the kid puts the mask on, and they play the commercial. And this kid's just grabbing his head, and then, like I said, it's his head basically turns to mush, right?
Yeah.
And he falls over, and there's um, crickets and snakes coming out of his head.
Who come up with this concoction of things?
It's great. It's great.
Let's put snakes and crickets in there.
Crickets,
What?
grasshoppers too.
Oh, grasshopper, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's other bugs in there too. But so that's when we see that's what they're doing. But then there's another really good scene where um I guess someone's figuring it out, or someone's like, I can't remember who the woman is, but she's in her hotel room, and
Oh, yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
I guess she's looking at the little silver shamrock badge that's on the masks. I guess she's trying to, she figures out that it's, you can open or whatever. So she tries to open it. And when she does, like electric, like electric blue light hits her in the face. So now we see what the mask actually does to you without the mask on. So we see like her face melting and like her head caving in. And then of course snakes come out.
That is my favorite scene of this movie.
Really good scene. Yeah.
It is. And it's brutal. I mean, I remember watching it with my wife, and she's like,
the other scene, well, I would say the other more brutal scene is the Tom Atkins sex scene. That has to be more upsetting.
Just a little bit.
Because I mean, that girl was so young.
I know.
Just don't. Continues to weird me out. Like, that's your grandfather. Kissing.
Oh man.
Yeah, so like really good special effects. I mean, I really like I said, when you see the kid with the mask on, you're not really seeing much, until the snakes come out. Although I think there was one part where the mask kind of tore open, you could see like his head or whatever. But the scene wherever she gets hit with the electric without having a mask on, that scene was really good. That was a really good special effects scene.
No, you're right. The special effects in this, I mean, or practical effects in this were great. The whole makeup and everything. I love how this movie did it. Yeah, Michael's not running around stabbing people, but what we get instead is a bunch of badass scenes.
Badass scenes, and then like a really good original story.
Yeah.
Like, which I know today we complain about nothing new. They're just remaking everything. Obviously, that's what they were doing back then, because whenever this flopped, they were just like, let's make another Michael Myers movie.
Well,
so they've kind of always repeated everything, but I always like those original, you've never seen this before storyline, and then for some reason people don't like it, and you never get anything like that again. It's horrible.
Yeah, it is, but we've talked about it before. I mean, and then watching documentaries on this, these directors and these people that create, they want to do a certain something, and the studio gets involved. And they're like, no, well, you got to make this first before you can make this, because the last one you did was a big hit. So then we'll let you do your little pet project after you give us more money, which sucks because, like you said, what would have been? You know what I mean?
Yeah, imagine starting in 1981. We have Halloween 3, and then the next year another Halloween subtitle, whatever you want it to be, but it's directed by Tobe Hooper. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the next year a different Halloween directed by Joe Dante or whatever. That would have been awesome. That would have been great to get a new original horror movie every year. For as long as they could have done it.
Yeah, it kind of like
still be doing it today.
Kind of like a full feature, Masters of Horror kind of thing.
Yeah, Masters of Horror, but in the theater.
Yeah, which
I don't see why John Carpenter couldn't do this today. He could easily do. He could easily do Season of the Witch, remake Season of the Witch. Right? No one's going to complain that they're remaking Season of the Witch because everybody hated it anyways. I wouldn't mind seeing an updated version of it. And then you put it straight on Netflix or Shudder. And then next year you do Halloween, whatever, and you get another director to come on and you do it. You just do it, and he can do it. I say, if he's listening, do it. Remake Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. Just call it Season of the Witch. And then, next year you do a different Halloween. Have it set in Haddonfield, but it's a different story altogether. Maybe even more maybe more science fiction stuff too.
Well, I mean, you got these big hit shows right now. I mean, Castle Rock is on its second season, and it's based in like a Stephen King type world.
Yeah, it's everything. Stephen King is in this show.
Yeah, names, places, and things and all that. So that could be something that happens in the future. Who knows? I mean,
he could just do Haddonfield, right? Have a show called Haddonfield where it's just different. It's like a Tales from the Crypt type show. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he could definitely.
Look at Creep Show. Creep Show came back and it's awesome. It's doing really good.
Yeah. Shoot. I mean, they sometimes they gamble on things and it just works out. And I guess Creep Show might, open some doors now. So hopefully it does. Hopefully it does.
All right, let's talk about the jingle, the Silver Shamrock jingle.
The jingle that sticks in your head.
It's stuck in my head right now. I actually found I posted it yesterday, I think, or a couple of days ago. It was a video of it was a 10-hour loop of the Silver Shamrock jingle.
I'm like, is he trying to melt everybody's head? Yeah. What is he doing with that?
But it's basically London Bridge is falling down. That's the song they used.
Really?
Yeah. You know why they used it?
Why did they use it?
Because it was in the public domain, and they didn't have to pay for it.
Nice.
No, but it that's catchy too, I guess. Well, yeah, the London Bridge part. But yeah, basically, I would hope everybody listening has already heard this. Whether you've seen the movie or you just heard someone repeat it, it's like it's just a countdown. I don't remember what day they start, but 2 more days till Halloween or whatever. And it just basically says that over and over again with the like toy. Is that like a toy piano music in the background? I think it's like a toy piano or something.
I think
anyway,
so.
I'll have to put like a clip of it in this episode here, as long as you don't get like copyright violated and taken down. But just so everybody knows what they're missing.
Yeah, I think you can share a clip or something. I think you can do that legally, but
for like 30 seconds or something.
Something like that.
Put a 10-hour version on here.
Oh god, the podcast will get shut down now.
Yeah, but another I remember this being kind of creepy as a kid was I guess we'll call them the goons. They were basically robots.
Yeah, like androids or whatever.
Yeah, but you didn't know that they were robots, and I think Tom Atkins punches one, right?
Yeah.
Like the green goo comes out of them, and pulls out the wires and stuff. Yeah, those were kind of creepy too. The android goons that they had, and they all wore suits, 80s style suits.
Like the Men in Black kind of thing going on with them.
But they weren't cool black suits. These were just your everyday 80s businessman suits.
Oh,
Yeah,
Well, what were the guys that they were part of the Shamrock Corporation? I thought it was the androids, but they did have black suits or something.
did they wear black? See, I could have swore that they all just wore different, like just like a gray suit with a blue tie or whatever.
I guess so. I'm not going to argue because I don't remember.
You're supposed to argue though. Bring her back. I do have a little question though. The guy that played the main villain, what's his name? Cochran?
Yeah, Cochran.
Is he not the guy from RoboCop? Was he in RoboCop? Behave yourselves. Is that not that guy?
Behave. I love that movie. Let's see. I'll look it up right now.
And that's where he reminded me of.
You know what? I think you're right. No, it says he was in RoboCop. He was. Yeah. Behave yourself.
Yeah. And that's the part I remembered him from. I was like, I remember that guy. So, see, we've already got like a universe set up here.
Yeah. So, Halloween 3 ties into RoboCop. That's good.
Here's a little fun fact. I was looking at pictures here, and for some reason, on information movie database, they just have a wide shot of like the gas station in the motel. Gas was $1.32 a gallon.
Wow. That's amazing. Now it's not like that, but yeah, back in the day, I guess.
Oh, look here. I'm looking at another picture here too. I'm sorry that this is not a visual thing we're doing here. Like it's just audio. But the family roadster from Vacation.
Oh yeah.
National Lampoon's Vacation is in this one picture. Yeah, it's a green wagon with the wood paneling down the side.
Well,
I just wonder if that was in there as some kind of Easter egg or something.
Shoot, it could have been, but those cars were real popular back then. I remember my grandparents having one.
That exact car, though, I just figured that car that they had on that movie was fake, like not a real car.
Oh, you mean colors and all that?
Yeah, like the picture was the exact same.
Maybe, shit, who knows? Or maybe they're like, we need a station wagon. We'll just use that one. You know, we're not making another National Lampoon's Family whatever for another 2 years. So
yeah, and then they're just gonna fly to London. They're not going to drive cross country. Or maybe that's what happened to them. They only made it to Haddonfield.
Uh-oh.
And then they all died.
Rusty, don't put on the mask.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yes. And then you play the Vacation theme song. So the Tom Atkins character, he's a doctor working in a hospital whenever the victim shows up. I guess this guy escaped from the Dublin, whatever the factory was called, the Dublin factory, wherever the silver shamrocks were made. I'm assuming this guy worked there and figured out what they were doing. So the movie opens with him escaping. I guess he's just run down the street. But then he gets brought to the hospital as like a suicide, where I think a homeless man finds him or something. And of course, they say it's suicide. Yeah, Tom Atkins plays it. He's the doctor that's on call there. How does he end up investigating? How does he go from you know? I can't think of any good names here.
From doctor to detective.
I could have thought of those names. I'd meant like.
I don't know. Oh, from like he goes from like Quincy to fucking Magnum PI.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does he do that? You know, I guess it's the mustache.
Okay. Yeah.
He ends up like in, and I want to say because he meets that girl, right? Because that's her father.
Yeah.
Her father's the one that is in the hospital dead. But still, who does that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know,
I'm a doctor, and then, you know, obviously he meets an attractive young woman who's interested in his, in a mustache ride or whatever. But then he says, no, I've got to stay here and work at the hospital. I can't go chasing, Irish cults who want to kill all the kids.
No, Tom Atkins, he was a man of action. He got it right in there.
I guess he was a man of action.
Yeah.
Probably connected to Night of the Creeps. Maybe the same character.
Which is, by the way, Night of the Creeps, badass movie. Still
he had the mustache in that too, right?
Yeah, he did.
So I guess he's probably one of these actors that always had the mustache in every. And probably still has the mustache.
I don't think he had it in The Fog. I don't think he had it. He might have.
It's in The Fog. Yeah, now that I think about it, I don't think he did. I guess even Tom Selleck eventually shaved off his mustache, right?
Yeah, he did, and he looks weird.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, Tom Atkins, he's just a badass. So, I mean, yeah.
And other than him, and of course the RoboCop guy, I don't really recognize anybody else in this film.
I would like to do credits of movies now, like when they remaster them and starring Tom Atkins, typical mustache dude, and the RoboCop guy.
Yeah. Just don't put
I know that guy.
Yeah, that's the guy from RoboCop. And then, like in quotes, you can put, behave yourselves.
Yeah, he's the guy.
That way everybody knows.
Yeah,
that's exactly who I was thinking about.
Which, if people haven't seen RoboCop, what the hell's wrong with you?
Everybody needs to see RoboCop.
Everybody has to. But
Jamie Lee Curtis is in this movie.
Yeah, in Halloween 3.
Yes.
Oh,
she's the voice of the operator. She's the voice of the operator.
Oh, okay.
Whenever he's trying to call. When he tries to call, I guess when he tries to call, make a phone call, she's like the voice of the operator.
Well, and there is a scene where they're showing Halloween on a TV. It's like an Easter egg kind of thing. You got to pay attention. I think it's in a guard shack, or it's somewhere where there's like a little TV and you see it, or it's, I can't remember.
It shows a decent amount of it because it's like, I guess Halloween is the movie that they're showing that night, and that's when their commercial will come on.
Mm-hmm.
So this is like a commercial for, hey kids, make sure you watch Halloween and get your mask ready because we're going to show the commercial or whatever.
You're going to win a prize of death.
Yeah. So basically it sets this movie in Haddonfield, but the Halloween is just a movie that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's why they're showing it on TV. I mean, I just thought it was neat when I rewatched it. I noticed that. I'm like, oh shit. Halloween's on TV.
Yeah, I wish I could find a lot of behind the scenes stuff for this. Like, I would love to see the special effects. How they done a lot of the special effects.
Yeah, they got documentaries and behind the scenes for everything. You would think they would have it for this.
That's something I'd be interested in seeing. I don't know. Maybe I'm sure there's some special edition Blu-rays that either Scream Factory or Arrow Video probably has. You can probably find it. It probably has some decent behind the scenes stuff on it.
Well, cool. Now I know what to get you for Christmas.
There you go.
Halloween 3 Blu-ray edition.
Yeah. So the movie bombed in theaters, but the book that was the novelization of the film that came out in 1982 was a bestseller.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And they reissued it 2 years after the film's release, so it got released again in 1984. That's how well it done.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I
That's
can't
pretty
believe.
cool.
Well, I just can't believe that people read that book and then said this is trash. Michael Myers is not the killer,
Yeah,
or did they just not even know?
I don't think they knew.
Yeah, maybe they just called the book "Season of the Witch." Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, shoot, I'd like to find that so I could read it.
I'm sure you can find it at your local bookstore, but you don't
What's
have to
that
take
again?
my word for it.
What's that again? You mean that place where they have the movies on books on paper
Yes. Yeah.
called the library? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I miss Walden Books. I miss going to the bookstore. There's no Barnes and Noble around me. There is
Books a
one.
million.
Go ahead.
We have a Books a Million. That's what we have around here.
Oh, okay. Well, I got Barnes and Noble like on both sides of me, and they're about 40 minutes to an hour away. So what I have in this little town is the library. That's about it. So yeah, I remember going to Walden Books in the mall where I used to live, and we just walk in there and look at all the Stephen King books and stuff. I miss those days. Those were pretty cool.
Right. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, we used to have a Walden also, but that mall no longer exists. So
Got rid of it.
So now I just have the Books a Million, the closest that I have. So the scene whenever he throws the mask up under the security camera,
Yeah.
40 takes it took to get that.
Oh yeah. I imagine.
I don't know why they just didn't put it up there, have him pull it off with some filament, and then just run it in reverse.
Well,
They got it done in one take.
right? Or they should have had Bryan Cranston do it. He got that pizza on that roof one take.
Okay.
Breaking Bad reference, whoever doesn't know what the hell I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. I've never seen the show, but I know the reference.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so using the original molds, the Skull, Witch, and Jack-o'-lantern masks seen in the film were mass-produced by the Don Post Studios and sold in retail stores to promote the film's release. And that's what I want. I want like an original, or I just want, a repo. I don't care if it's a repo or not. I'd like to have all three. I think it'd be awesome.
That would be cool in your little podcast cubby hole that you're in. Yeah. I'd like to have, my, it's totally off topic because we're talking about having cool shit for like your little office.
Right.
One day I'm going to have Nicolas Cage's weapon from Mandy hanging on the wall behind me.
There you go. That would be awesome.
That would. That's when I get my own little office. That's what I want. But anyway, yes, the mask would be badass.
You gonna make it yourself? You're gonna forge it out of anger?
Yeah, wearing a tiger shirt.
Fueled rage.
Cocaine and whatever the fuck he dipped his fingers into.
Yeah, that super drug. You mentioned the fog earlier when we were talking about the awesome mustache.
Yeah.
The gas station in this film could also be seen in The Fog. John Carpenter's The Fog.
Which, that's a good movie, too.
Oh, yeah, I love the original The Fog. First, and this is going to sound crazy. I don't know if I've mentioned this before in this podcast or not because we've done so many episodes now. First film that I ever saw in a theater, and I still remember it.
Wow.
I'm talking like when it came out. I'm not talking about like a re-release. I'm talking about when The Fog came out.
When it was brand spanking new.
Brand new. Whatever year that was. 1980. So I remember seeing The Fog in theaters in 1980. My first movie-going experience.
I could have been in the theater, but my dad didn't like horror movies, and I would have been in a sack, so...
Saw this movie with my parents and my aunt.
That's awesome. That's awesome they took you to that.
Yeah, no, it's great. I also seen, I was probably young. I was still young just too. Fright Night. Whenever Fright Night first came out, I saw it at a movie theater on the Marine base in Hilton Head, South Carolina, which is where they filmed Full Metal Jacket.
Oh wow.
So I got to watch Fright Night with a bunch of Marines, and them yelling at the screen was like the best part of the movie because they were just shit talking the movie the whole time. It was great, good times.
So now the mask that you're talking about, you want the original when they first distributed them out, or do you want the?
That's probably pricey. I would say if you could even find one of the originals, they're probably pretty pricey. That's why I'm saying somebody needs to like redo them.
Well,
Somebody
they
needs to,
I got it pulled up here on Google. Halloween 3 pumpkin latex mask, $32,
sweet.
and the skull is also $32. So there you go. Your dream can come true for $32.
Does that come with snakes and bugs, or do I got to provide those later?
No, you just wear the mask and watch watch the show or watch the video.
The commercial, yeah.
Yeah, the commercial. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And the witch is 52. How the hell does that happen?
There's a lot more. I guess there's more to it, more detail with the hat and all that, and the hair.
I guess. Yeah, that's kind of confusing to me, but whatever.
Yeah. I guess they have to make a different mold for it, like a bigger.
Yeah, we missed out on a lot, man. I wish I was around when all this stuff was going on too. I mean, I guess as a teenager or young adult, I mean, all the stuff that they used to do for movies and promotions, because I watched the documentary In Search of Darkness covering the awesome horror decade of the 80s.
Yes, very good. Before we move on from that, up until, I guess, tomorrow night,
Yeah,
if you order you can order the Blu-ray, and then you get like up until midnight tomorrow night, Halloween night, you can get the Blu-ray and like a poster and pin package deal. That after Halloween you won't be able to order that one anymore. So it's a pretty cool little deal that you can get for that movie. But yeah, go ahead.
No, that's fine. I mean, shoot, they worked real hard on this. I mean, shoot, it took a while to make this, and
yeah, they got a bunch of like people.
They do
actors, directors, special effects people talking about horror movies.
And they have Tom Atkins in there, and he's talking about The Fog, of course, season of The Witch. He's talking about that, and Night of the Creeps, and interesting stories, that they share. And of course, John Carpenter shares a lot of stuff. It's a must watch. If you love that decade of horror, it's a must watch. And me and William Von Grimm on my other podcast got to watch it because we got behind the Indiegogo, or I'm sorry, the Kickstarter, like right when it was ending. We got in on that.
Right.
So we got the early stream, as a reward for backing them. And I'll tell you what money well spent, because it's just great. So definitely check it out. But yeah, all the stories they get to share, and I know you'll dig it because you like to, hear stuff about behind the scenes, what happens and all.
Oh yeah, I love it.
Oh yeah, you'll love this. But yeah, it's awesome.
So do you think that, see that like at the end of the movie, I guess as a last resort, the only thing Tommy Lee Wallace can do to stop this now is to convince radio or local television stations to not show this commercial.
Yeah.
And he gets on the phone and he calls somebody. I don't know who he called. I know there's not like one company that controls all of the
nationwide.
But he called one person. Do you think maybe he was just calling the local, like to save the local kids? And do you think he was successful, or do you think because the movie ends without really telling us?
It just him ends with him
screaming into the phone, turn it off, But do you think that this movie had like a downer ending where every kid in the world who's wearing one of these masks head gets turned to mush and snakes Or do you think
take a
he stopped
bite.
at least some of it?
My thoughts on that, and that's what makes this movie great. Some of the greatest movies, they leave you hanging, and it pisses some people off. But I think my interpretation of it was, uh, I don't think he got a hold of anybody. I think the Silver Shamrock Company uh, messed that up. Like he thought he was talking to the TV station and he wasn't. That's why he kept yelling, "Turn it off! Turn it off! Turn it off!" And I don't think he was successful at all. I think the Silver Shamrock Company probably had some sort of thing where they answered and act like they were the TV station. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, that makes sense too. I would say that, well, I mean, like I said, there's no way he got hold of every station. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
With all the affiliates that you have and local this and there's just no way he stopped it. I don't think he did. Which means a bunch of kids died. And then you'd mentioned before about why did they do that? What's the kids part of it? And I
yeah,
just, for some reason, it just popped, like I'm sitting there thinking, well, that's the only people they can get to wear the mask, right? You're not going to get a bunch of adults to do this. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the toys and cereal and sugary cereals. You're going after the kids, right?
yeah.
So I think that's why it's the kids, because it's, we sell them these masks with our chip in it. They're going to want to get it. And I guess it's an easier way to get a bunch of souls at one time.
I guess so. Kind of like a mass sacrifice. They
Right.
wanted as many, like you said, as many souls as they could get. What better way than to trick a bunch of little innocent kids to get this mask? Um,
Like if they could have somehow manufactured some kind of beer that done the same thing, then you would have got the adults involved. You know what I'm saying?
a bunch
Like,
of men.
2 more days, get your Silver Shamrock beer ready to drink only when this commercial is playing.
Oh man, I don't know how they could have marketed that
Yeah,
for
so
adults.
I would say that's why um that's why they're using kids.
Well, and like we said before, that's what this movie is, an original idea. It's way underrated. Now I don't think it is, but back in the day it was underrated as hell. But now it's seen a resurgence, I think, to where people are appreciating it, especially, dum-dums like me, when I was younger. And that's my defense. I was young and stupid. But now that I appreciate movies a lot more and in-depth stories, I get it. So that's what I got to say about this movie. I absolutely love it now. But yeah, it's worth a watch, and I recommend it to anybody. It's a great movie.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it to everybody. Definitely a good one to watch on Halloween, and I'm sure that AMC is having a marathon tomorrow, so you can probably tune in and catch it. I'm sure they'll be doing, playing all the Halloween films like they do every year.
Oh yeah, AMC, IFC, pretty much any channel you'll see Halloween, and it's a tradition of mine to watch the original Halloween, and then I watch Rob Zombie's Halloween because I love that one too. So
All right, so I'll give you a couple more little trivias here
okay,
before we end this episode here.
let's do it.
Um, so we had talked previously. I mentioned how disgusting it was that
Yeah.
the younger woman, you know, was really into Tom Atkins. This is the second John Carpenter produced film. The first being The Fog, where Tom Atkins plays a character who winds up having sex with a much younger woman who makes the first move on him. Like the young women are going after him.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if Tom Atkins went to, he's like, hey, make me the next Tom Selleck, John Carpenter, please. So he just has like young women throwing themselves at him. Or if it's some kind of deal that they had.
Maybe.
The fluid that comes out of the robots' mouths, orange juice.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's that's crazy.
All right. So this refers to the ending we were just talking about. After Daniel yells "Stop it" on the phone at the very end of the film, the
Hmm?
screen cuts to black, and then the end credits. Originally, the ending theme wasn't going to be played during the credits. Instead, it was supposed to be all the screams of millions of children being murdered.
Whoa. Oh man.
Director Tommy Lee Wallace decided not to add this so the ending could be ambiguous and add a possibility that they were saved. I'm going to go with the original ending that you just hear a bunch of kids screaming as snakes and crickets come out of their eyeballs.
Well, and like we were talking about before, that's why I like it, is because it leaves you like, did he do something? I mean, that would just totally be like, oh man, I guess all those kids are dying. Well, that's crazy. Well, and it kind of makes sense for the time it came out too. They're like, you can't put that on the screen.
Yeah, even though it's just audio.
Okay. So it was just audio. It's
just goes
screaming.
black. Yeah, it just
Wow,
goes black. And then instead of playing the theme song, they just had a bunch of kids screaming.
Holy crap, that would have been freaky.
That would have been effective. Like, you imagine seeing that in the theater. You know what I'm saying? The theater goes completely black, and you just hear a bunch of kids screaming.
Yeah.
That would have been awesome. And of course, keeping with the ending thing there. So besides this film, another John Carpenter film that also ends with a ambiguous like ending is The Thing.
Oh, of course.
And of course, that is who's the thing in the end.
Yeah, there's speculation.
Which I think, I was watching something the other day, and I believe that the Thing video game on Xbox answers that question.
It does. And I always tell dude, I always tell people, they're like, man, that Thing remake, it kind of sucked. I'm like, if you want a sequel to The Thing, you have to play the Xbox game, because I bought that shit when it came out, and I played it till I finished it, and it was great.
Yeah, but apparently in that game, well, I'm not gonna. Well, I don't want to. Well, I'll spoil it.
Yeah, screw it. Whatever.
You don't want to hear the end. You don't want to hear this. Turn it off now and then come back. Just use your 30-second skip button there. But I guess in the game, towards the end somewhere, Kurt Russell shows up.
Yeah, he does. In a helicopter.
Yeah. But does that really answer the question though? Was he the Thing, or did he survive and leave and come back? Or is he the Thing? You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense?
Yeah, you are. No, I think he survived and he came back to help him out. Well, that's what the video game leads you to believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I thought maybe it also could have been like he was the Thing, right? And he escapes. And let's say he's out there making other things, but then comes back. I don't know. Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I wish they would make horror games like they used to with the Xbox and PS2. They had so many underrated horror games that not a lot of people talk about, and that is one of them. I remember being so impressed, and it sounds funny now, but I was so impressed with that Thing game, because you're with your squad and you're walking in, and then you go into this broken down lab area, and one of the guys, you hear him go, "Oh my God," and he starts making throw up sounds, and you look and he's throwing up. I was like, holy shit, that's badass. For the time it came out, it was just so cool that they were reacting to the atmosphere or the setting. So yeah. I love that game. I would love to have it again. I wish I still have my Xbox so I could play it.
I was going to say, it may be backwards compatible at this point. You may be able to find a copy of it or just download it through the purchase it digitally or something.
Yeah, or you could find.
See.
You could. I know there's something I could find that I could get it. But yeah, it's just to have the copy, because I had a copy of it. I had to have.
That's what I'm saying.
Game.
If you have like the original Xbox copy, and it's backwards compatible, you can play it on your Xbox One. You put the disc in, it reads the disc, and then just downloads the digital
Oh,
copy.
okay. Oh,
It just has to be backwards compatible first.
yeah. But yeah, highly recommend if you want a sequel to that, play that game.
Yes, it was very good. I liked it. But yeah, so you also recommend Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, right?
Of course, yes.
What's your rating on it?
There's not enough pretties I could say. There's just not. It's just like
Well, I was gonna
great.
say what we should have done for our rating is you would have to sing the theme song, but the number of days till Halloween is what you're rating it. So if I was giving it like a
Yeah, I
five
got
more
you.
days till Halloween, yeah, let's do it that way. That'd be your rating.
I'll go with nah, I have to go with man. Well, judging on the rating system that you have created, I would have to say that it'd be 8 more days of Halloween. Halloween. That's what I think.
And I will also give it 8 more days till Halloween.
There you
Halloween.
go.
Okay. And that's gonna be our new rating system for every other movie now.
Oh no. We created a
No,
monster here.
no, it's really good. Like I said,
Yeah.
I saw it when it came out on home video, and I'm assuming 82, 83 sometime, probably 82, considering how bad it done in the theaters. And I've loved it ever since. I was never upset that there was no Michael Myers in it, because for some reason, I always knew it was just a different story. It was just, yeah, it was just had the Halloween title. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I always liked it. I recommend it. And yeah, definitely check it out. Like I said, tomorrow I'm sure it's gonna be playing on AMC or IFC or UFC or
UFC.
C,
One of those damn
NBC,
C's.
something that ends with a C is gonna be showing this movie tomorrow. I guarantee it, and probably all the other Halloween movies. So yeah, definitely check it out. I'm sure Sci-Fi will be showing the Leprechaun trilogy or something.
Yeah, they're like, well, everybody else is on Halloween. I guess we'll show Leprechaun.
Yeah. Guess we'll do our Sharknado marathon.
Yeah. Oh man. I do want to say before we get on out of here, it's already been released, and I can't say enough good things about this movie. I was able to see a screener of it, but Midnight Devils. I think everybody should check that movie out. Abel Berry, Jen Stone, Stoneberry Productions put this out, and it's a great movie, and I like the story, and how they made the Wendigo look in this thing is just fucking wicked as hell. So, awesome story. Check it out. I recommend seeing that movie.
And where can they find it at?
Right now there is and I'll share it on our group. It's a Squarespace, so he's selling the DVDs and the Blu-ray through his Square store.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not going to be streaming anywhere because of the unfortunate and horrible thing that Go Digital and all them are doing to these independent filmmakers.
Right.
To get them on these streaming.
I would prefer a physical copy anyway. So.
Oh, for sure. And there's cool little packs he has. There's one, it's the Ultimate Pack. It has the special edition Blu-ray, a signed poster, and a freaking Midnight Devils t-shirt, which I have a Midnight Devils t-shirt, and it's very comfortable, and it's been through a couple washes, hadn't shrunk at all. So definitely get in on that. I think there's only so many. I think there's 100, and I think there has to be.
Once they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah, they're gone
until they print more.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, Midnight Devils. Check it out.
Yeah, definitely. I'm definitely gonna check that one out. There was also something else that I seen. I want to say that the Stranded Indiegogo, they're offering some kind of special on up until the. They were offering some kind of special or something.
It's on Friday. It's Free Perks Friday. they started this, and all it cost you is one little dollar. And yeah, Free Perks Friday, you get in, you get a chance to win a lot of awesome prizes. One of them being credited in the movie as a badass motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you know, we're paying attention to all these Indiegogos, and there's so many. But I do want to mention one that you shared that I'm
Okay, go right
very
ahead.
interested in.
I may be surprised at this one.
Carrie shares a lot. Friday the 13th fan film, the
Oh,
game.
the 8-bit. Yes.
Yes,
Yes, I forgot about that. Yeah, that looks like it's going to be pretty good.
it looks pretty sweet, and I hope they reach their mark because I think that's going to be a treat for everybody. It already looks cool. The guy that's making it, forgive me, I don't remember his name.
We'll put all the
Uh,
information in the show notes.
yeah, we will. But 20 years experience in making films, so you know it ain't going to be a hunk of junk or nothing. So
Yeah, and just looking at the pictures, it looks like they're also going to have like the because if no one's ever played Friday 13th, the video game on the NES, you didn't just fight Jason, you fought zombies for some
yep.
reason, and I think that those are going to be in this movie, which is going to be interesting. I just hope he has the birds also, because you would have like birds flying past you, and you have to throw rocks at them. Yeah, so I forgot about that, and that looks really good. I hope they actually get to make that one there. So yeah, everybody, I mean, if you want to see these films, chip in a buck,
There you go.
help them out.
And you know what? I'm just going to say it because it needs to be said. It only cost $1 to be a part of a podcast from beneath Patreon.
Yes,
You know, and
$1.
it is a ghost town with one guy in there, and that one guy is me. With $1, just hanging out by myself. So get in on the Patreon for this show. It's to make the show better. This is not for us to go buy Ferraris or anything. It's for us for this show to grow, for our podcast network to grow.
Yeah, so we can get better equipment, which if you've listened to some of our episodes, you know that we need. um,
Help us get a soundproof booth for
there
Billy.
you go. Yeah, but we could it's for purchasing let's say ad space or movies to watch for the show if there's new movies coming out that we want to review. Yeah, anything like that. Yeah, I mean, like I said, nothing illegal. What are we doing with this money?
Yeah, it's to help the show, and of course, any contribution is appreciated. And if you're like, I don't want to give you $1, well, give us a review.
Yeah, give us a
Go on
review, a like.
iTunes or something. Yeah, and get a little bit more rambunctious and start making some noise on the Facebook group. The people we have in there, they're awesome. We appreciate you guys. We appreciate anything that we get. So, yeah, I just wanted to shout out, a little selfless promotion kind of thing.
Yeah, so, we're talking to all 16 of our listeners.
We're talking to you, Billy. Put in $1, okay? No.
Yeah, we didn't
I have to pick on him. He ain't here
this evening. Yeah, we forgot to mention that. He's off. He's having some he's got some things going on. I don't want to get into detail. It's nothing bad. It's good, but I'll let him tell you when he comes back.
No, I'm gonna let him know right now.
Okay.
It was a bear rapage accident.
Bear rapage accident.
He pulled a Leo DiCaprio in the woods.
Yes, that's what.
Get better, Billy. We're there for you.
So, where can they find you on the internet?
Well, they can find me. I got a Twitter. It's they call me Mr. Poe. You can see all that I'm involved in. Of course, this lovely podcast I'm on right now, and of course the other awesome podcast, the brainchild of me and William Von Grimm, the Poe and Grimm podcast. You can check us out there. And
Stop there for a second, because you recently started doing some interesting episodes that I've been enjoying, and they're the small cuts.
yeah,
Very good episodes. Those are.
Thank you.
I really enjoy listening to those. It's not any one topic. It's not any one movie. It's basically what William does best: go off the rails for a short episode.
You know, and he gets all the credit for our tagline, small slices and deep cuts. Yeah, we really enjoy the small slice episodes because we're more relaxed and we talk about everything we're kind of into and what we've seen and all this stuff. But lately we've been very active with our interviews and people's Indiegogos, getting the word out for them. And it's just been a blast. And I know we're going to be doing that a lot more often on this show. I know there's a couple of people we're talking to see if they can't come on here and talk to us on this little show. But yeah, I mean, stay tuned. I mean, 2020 is around the corner, and I see nothing but great things for both of our shows. And of course, B Movie TV, I'm on there as well. Sci-Fi Sideshow, Sundays at 8. And
on the Roku.
Yeah. On the Roku.
The Roku.
Oh
people will be switching through their cable channels trying to figure out why the show's not on.
I am not that good. It's on the Roku. It's a linear channel. B Movie TV. Go search channels, download the app. Takes 2 seconds, and there's a bunch of awesome talent on there as well for other shows, original shows, and of course, the man himself, Ken Ace Brewer, and he's working on Death Part 5. It should be coming out pretty soon.
Right on. And you can find me on Twitter, where I'm only on there to apparently piss off Jeffrey Combs. But you can find me at 1313 Inc. on Twitter. And you can find all the other information for this show, all the shows on our network. That includes this show, Poem Grove Podcast, Beards and Brews. You can find all the information for everything on our website, which is 1313inc.wordpress.com.
Yes.
Still haven't came up with an ending for this show yet, so we're just going to end it now.
Okay.
With an okay.
No. No, thanks everybody for listening. Appreciate you. Love you.
Yep, thanks for listening. Until next time.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
It has been established that persons who have recently died have been returning to life and committing acts of murder. The unburied dead are coming back to life